I forgot. I don't know where anything is. Listen, hello and welcome to PleasureCast. My name is Brian Krogsgaard, here with the one, the only, Josh Olsowich. Josh, how you doing, man?
Good. We have proof of life of
Proof
Brian
life.
Beauregard Krogsgaard.
Yeah,
That's
my middle name. I'm glad that you told everybody.
You live in the South, right? It's got to be close.
Of course it is.
It's got to be close to your middle name.
Yeah, everybody called me BBK my whole life.
That's a good handle.
Yeah.
BBK.
Yeah, I should have gotten the .eth for that. Josh, it's great to be back with you. Happy New Year. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy MLK Day. What else? What other holiday?
We got President's Day coming up.
President's Day. Might as well be. It's great to see you. It's been a hot minute. I'm not dead. The show's not dead. Listen, just what did we say before? The ETF is bullish. Get over the short-term chop and just enjoy your life. I am a plan follower. Listen, okay? That's all we're saying. I'm a plan follower. That's what I've been doing. What have you been doing?
Well, we did say flows would probably be bullish. We probably talked about GBTC being a factor, which it was. I've been trading this really well, so I'm happy. I'm not a back patter. I'm just saying, like, yes, the trades have been really well, going really well. You know, I haven't been shorting 50K like some people.
Oh god,
I'm not going to name names here, but like who?
Have people been shorting?
Oh yeah, and look, I love it. I hate to be the guy to say don't short because look, these people need to lose money. Unfortunately, they need to touch the stove. They need to get burned. They help fuel the rally higher.
Dude, I've looked at charts less than I have in however many years I've been in crypto. 7. I've been in crypto for 7 years. Is that right? This is my 7th year of crypto. It is. Ugh, that's gross. Feels good. Have plenty of exposure. Haven't had to make trades. I'm enjoying life. Why are people bearish? Well, here's the inflows. Even I pay attention to Josh's videos enough to see the inflows. I mean, I had to ask Josh when the ETF was live, like, hey, which tickers am I supposed to buy with this thing?
Even I don't know what I was going to say. All I was going to say is, like, look, most people like you and me and people that have been here, there's really nothing to do, right? There's nothing to do but keep buying, keep holding. That's it, right? You can manage trades like I have been in and out of, like, you know, weekly type setups. But broadly, you just let the money machine, the infinite money machine, take over. People don't realize how much money is out there and how little people have access to this still. How few people even have bought this yet, right? They're still playing the national anthem. Okay, like, calm down, right? We got plenty of time. These are the flows since launch, which have just been phenomenal in the past 2 weeks here.
Yeah, people are buying the ETF. It's almost like there's a passive participant in the market that just buys Bitcoin through the ETF, and that maybe the ETF is bullish.
Well, these are people who, the early adopters, let's say, of the ETFs, probably people who have been educated for a while now and just waiting on access, waiting on, like, the legal go ahead, right? If anything, this gives the legal blessing to Bitcoin at the very least, right? But a lot of these people, with the money that they had, just couldn't access this stuff.
By the way, Josh, my voice sounds really weird right now. I don't know why, but I feel like my voice sounds like I've smoked 10 years of cigarettes in the last month and a half. I've been off the air, but I promise
you're busy celebrating with cigars.
I'm not a smoker, and I'm fine. I feel fine. I don't know what's going on with my voice right now. Maybe I'm just happy to be with y'all.
Well, here's the problem. This pod is going to mark the top because
absolutely,
what I have to say coming up here is not bullish.
Welcome back to Bear Market Podcasts.
No, broadly we're fine, but here's what we want to see, right? We want to see flows sustained, which is broadly what we've seen so far. Like, it's early days, right? But we've seen net inflows, which is good. We've seen large net inflows. We've seen net inflows surpassing daily miner issuance, which, by the way, most of those miners aren't even selling anyway. All these are good things, right? GBTC outflows cooled off a lot. They're going to perk up a little bit because they're selling the Genesis stack of GBTC to pay back the Gemini people. The Gemini people are then going to buy BTC. So net, it's not going to be a big deal, but you're still going to see that in the outflow data. So far, so good. It's just time, it's just time. That's all we need. But yes, there's a passive price agnostic component here by the looks of it. Somebody's like, hey, I want $1 billion of Bitcoin in the next 5 days. Get it done, right?
Yeah.
They did it.
They
did it.
I mean, all in all, not that much has happened. Went live in it, and there was some gyrations, but versus December, we're up what 20%, which is great on Bitcoin. The market looks healthy. Most alts are in the same place that they were in December, and we got positive flows. Things have been good from a price action perspective. I don't think anybody new's in jail.
Nobody old is out of jail.
Yeah.
Broadly, I think retail isn't here yet. Broadly, it's still pretty quiet. Like, yes, there's headlines. There's lots of headlines as we break and hold 50K, as we get these crazy inflows. That's going to bring people to the table asking questions. But I don't think the real party starts until all-time highs. I don't know about you, if you've had anybody ask you about Bitcoin, but
they ask me if I'm okay. Like,
no, I mean non-crypto people. Do they talk? Do they?
No, non-crypto people are like, "Are you still in that crypto stuff? Is that stuff doing okay? Is it still there?" And I'm like,
"Exactly.
Yeah, it's fine. In fact, it's great. It's better than your investments." Yeah, there's very little retail participation in this.
Yeah, if you're listening to a podcast like this, or you're watching us on Twitch and YouTube or wherever else, then you're one of these people that's probably pretty plugged in.
You're inside.
So most people aren't this plugged in, right? So that'll take time. But
people don't care until new all-time highs, to your point. My question for you is, do you expect new all-time highs this year?
This year? Absolutely. If we don't hit all-time highs this year, I'll be upset. The bigger question is it going to be pre-halving or post-halving? People are making like a big deal out of this. I don't really care. Halving is in April, pre or post. The only thing that really matters to me is the flows, because that's clearly what's driving price here. So
Lowstrife had a great halving tweet the other night. Did you see it?
Shout out Lowstrife. I did not. I talk to Lowstrife every day. What did it say?
It was about the acceleration of the cycle. He didn't make any points about the targets, but he quote tweeted someone else just talking about how the ETF is clearly affecting the halving cycle. I haven't read a lot of tweets. I just read some Lowstrife tweets. That's all I'm saying.
Historically, we haven't surpassed and held 50% of the bear market pre-halving. Okay, so right now we are well beyond that. I don't know where the 50% is. Somewhere up here. 50%, 618, the fib, whatever else. Like, typically we stall out a little bit. There's a lot of hype into the halving, and then we stall out till that supply issuance reduces or the liquidity picture improves. Okay, pick your poison. I don't care. Here, right, historically, like, we are well above where we should be. So do I think it's different this time? I legitimately think it's different this time. When you're seeing $500 million a day buying Bitcoin, I mean, that's something,
So is the NASDAQ also having a halvening, or why is the rest of the market going up?
Well, that's something I've been talking about over the past 2 weeks. You've got these crazy charts, AI related stuff, right? I think this is a hardware company. I think they make the boards or something for H100s. I don't honestly know.
Is Gary protecting those investors?
Well, that's what a lot of people are asking, right? This clearly has become a casino, which is, whatever your moral standings on that, it doesn't really matter. But this is up multiples of Bitcoin, right? Multiples of the rest of the market. This isn't the Russell, by the way. This is one of the reasons why the Russell's actually doing decently well, just because of this thing. So yeah, SMCI.
Russell is doing well because of this one stock.
Yes.
Wow, I'm missing this. I've seen this chart like once, but I have not paid attention to this story.
So it was up 200% in 2 months or something.
Yeah.
I think it's somebody said it's the Russell's up 34 points this year, and 26 of those points are this chart here.
Nice.
So yeah, we have some stuff going on, right? We have NVIDIA, we have super micro machine computer, whatever. It's important to just acknowledge that stuff, obviously, with the Mag 7, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta. On the crypto side, we need that stuff to not roll over, but there were signs this week, where S&P was down on the 13th on that CPI print, which came in a little hotter than expected. And we were green on the day. I don't think we were green on the day, but we retraced all of that. So that to me signals that these price agnostic ETF people, flows, buyers, they don't really care about much of anything other than getting in.
How about the dollar, Josh? You want this?
Yeah, so the dollar on the, I don't know what that is on the weekly. Is that even anything?
What do you mean, as a level?
No, as a pattern. Is that a harmonic? Is that a diamond bottom?
It's like a future shoulder.
You think it's a future right shoulder?
Yeah.
Of a Head and Shoulders.
Why not?
No, I'm not gonna disagree.
You got this, you got this, and you got this. Why not?
I'm not gonna disagree.
It's not pretty.
The Head and Shoulders purists will disagree with you because it's at the bottom, but as we discussed,
it's a continuation pattern.
It's a continuation of down,
I don't care if it's a shoulder or not. If it establishes a local high here, it's a lower high. That's always my point about Heads and Shoulders. And then the only other thing with the whole neckline is that you're just establishing a point that's been tested multiple times. So I don't know. Maybe we get below 100 next time.
Well, we've talked about this post-halving, which it's just important to put your lens around something, especially as more and more cycles have occurred. Talk about halving, talk about liquidity, talk about high yield bonds. I don't care. Okay, let's just call it halving. Post-halving, we've seen historically the dollar gets weak. That's helped us.
What's the guy that's the lead singer of Kiss? Richard Simmons?
Sure.
It's like his kind of shoulders, it's like shoulder pads, the spikes on the shoulders. That's what it looks like.
Could be. On the lower time frames, there was this
Gene Simmons. Richard Simmons was a dancer. Hey, there you go.
Low time frames, there was a potential bottom at DXY, but I think we all know where this is headed once rates come down, and it's not higher. The problem is the global countries, whatever the term is, are all headed for recession before we are. So we can stay higher for longer on a relative basis. But yes, I think
we're the flight to quality.
We are all those things people say about us: the dirtiest shirt in the laundry, the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
what about any other macro things? Should we just go ahead and get this out of the way? Any rates and rate stuff that you're intrigued by?
Yeah,
like, so dollar to me, like not higher highs or anything, but definitely recovered over the course of the year.
There's this yin and yang between people who think inflation's going higher, it's bottomed.
I don't think they can push rates much higher than what the prior highs were. Is my problem. Like, it creates too many other systemic issues.
Well, we're trying to thread the needle now to prevent the hard landing.
Yeah.
And I think time,
Look
rather
at
than
that.
raising rates, will
Mission
help.
accomplished on this chart.
So the thing about Truflation is it's obviously different than CPI. CPI has a lagging rent component. It's not core, it's not super core, it's not PCE, it's not all this other stuff, right? It's just one data point, but it does help tell the future. It's correlated really well. If this is predictive, which it has been trend wise, it doesn't suggest to me that we're headed to 3% plus inflation over the long term.
Would that insinuate that inflation was in fact transient,
Transitory?
transitory?
I think
Just
you can't
a
get the
longer
W on that.
a longer transitory inflation than expected because it didn't spiral. It just got higher for a couple of years.
What do they say? You can't prove a counterfactual. Like we can't.
Yeah.
We don't have the A/B test there. If the Fed truly did nothing, what would happen?
Well, sure. But they did something.
Right. So did the Fed have any effect at all? I guess is another question.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The Fed had an effect. If we had kept rates low, we could have created a spiraling inflation.
Well, the real question is if we kept rates, if we kept rates where they were, how long does inflation last, right? I don't think they get a W on transitory. Sorry.
No, I don't think they do either. I'm just saying, inflation is potentially under control.
They were slow to raise rates. They're going to be slow to lower rates, right?
Slow to lower, but the fact that they're not raising further, I think that I want to give a little bit of credit. I think they might be threading the needle, to your point. Okay, given they were too slow on everything up front. Too slow to raise, too slow to, and then potentially too slow to pause. But maybe they nailed it on the pause.
So far, yes. So far, yes. Despite what the Doomers want you to think, with all these layoffs, all over the place, broadly, it's not really showing up in the data.
Yeah, what
as far as unemployment?
Tech layoffs, maybe.
Mostly tech. There's some others, but mostly tech. It's like 5% of the company at Cisco is what, like 4,000 people, right? So that's a lot of people. This is the probabilities. So what we had this week was CPI and PPI, which both showed higher expectations of inflation, which is why people are pricing out a cut even for May. And if the economy is fine, if stonks are at all-time high,
why would you do that?
if unemployment's fine.
Is this what you're getting at when you say you weren't going to necessarily talk bullish to me?
No, it's just everybody thinks like we have to bring rates down.
I don't see why we have to do that. Why do we have to do that?
I'm just saying the broad animal spirit zeitgeist is like rates need to come down. They're too high. It just depends what the Fed wants the real rates to be, which is just interest rates minus inflation. Real rates are at a 20-year high right now. If that's where they want them to be, okay.
Flashback says Ledger streaming marks the top. See you in 2027. Show me your portfolio allocation in dollars. Flashback. I'll believe you. My lack of streaming has nothing to do with markets. I've been excited about markets this whole year. That's funny though.
So I think people want to cut, but that we don't need it yet. And if you look at the correlations historically, if we cut because we're weak, if we cut because of a recession, that does bring stuff lower. So it's kind of people talking on both sides of their mouth. Like, I don't know. It is what it is. But it's hard to know what the Fed's going to do because the Fed doesn't know what their Fed's going to do. They're just watching these data prints one at a time. The good news is between now and May, we have 4 CPI prints. So I think, right? Is that math right? No, sorry, June. Now, between now and June, there's actually a CPI print on June 12th, which is probably less than ideal. But
what's June 12th?
June 12th is a Fed meeting. So the day of the Fed meeting, we have a CPI print.
That'll be a fun one.
So they can't really, take that print into consideration.
Maybe that'll mark our summer top because they don't cut, and the news is too good in the economy to cut, so they don't cut, and then we pause for a little while.
We've also got this commercial real estate stuff because it's now a macro show. We've got BTFP ending, which has helped the banks that were struggling with rising rates. And we also have reverse repo draining to zero.
Yeah, some of those banks are screwed, man. Like some of the big institutional commercial real estate is in pretty big trouble. But I don't know. It's just a segment. It's not the whole economy. It's a piece.
Yeah, I agree. I think it matters. What's the market reaction? What does the Fed do, if anything? Do we have a BTFP program for commercial real estate? I hope not. Yeah. But there have been talks of that.
Really?
Not from the Fed, but the
Fed. People in commercial real estate. Please bail me out.
Just the people in banking are like, we got to do something for these people, whatever. Anyway, the reason the reverse repo is important is because this has pumped liquidity into the ecosystem to the tune of $2 trillion. A lot of money.
It is a lot of money. Where's that going?
This is getting moved from reverse repo to short-term treasuries. So it's allowed us to kind of issue debt on the short end without any big consequences in the yields, pulling money from risk, that sort of thing. That's my read on it anyway.
Gotcha.
So we've got this running out. We've got BTFP ending in March 11th, I think.
BTFP.
That's the bank bailout.
Oh.
From the SVB blow up.
Such a bad name.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel about the seasonality stuff where we got the election this year? One of these quarters is going to be bad.
How do you feel about the election? Are we going to have, is it going to be Biden Trump? I feel like we're running out of time for it not to be Biden Trump,
I don't know. Maybe if Democrats get desperate enough, they'll pull a Michelle Obama out of their back pocket. Although I don't think that's a good look, to be honest. Like, would I rather Michelle Obama as president than Biden? Yeah. Would I rather another dynasty? No.
Would I rather have real primaries to decide?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that Democrats see vulnerability and see Trump's strength in terms of probably with some independent voters that were a little let down by the stability regime expectations from Biden. But I don't know. I've seen people disagree with me about that. But
he's just too old.
He's too old.
Yeah.
People they underestimate how important that is because they're all old. They all got to go, including Trump. He's too old too. Get out of here.
There you go. You heard it first.
Yeah.
So the legacy seasonality, stock market seasonality, is actually bearish for the second half of February.
That's meta right there. The second half of February.
It is. I don't have the chart in front of me. Doppel, he's in the chat. He's been pulling this.
Filing their taxes and paying them or something.
I think that's part of it. I think tax selling is certainly part of it. It's certainly part of it for alts. If I owe money, what am I selling first? Right. It's going to be my alt positions. I'm trying to pull up the Bitcoin seasonality here on CoinGlass. The other seasonality piece to consider is the election year seasonality, which typically
choppy.
Typically, you see the strongest gains in the back half of the year.
Yeah. Can I give my hot take, Josh?
I'd love all your takes, hot or cold.
Great. I'm going to give a hot one. My hot take is that it is a little trickier getting to price exploration for crypto and especially non-Bitcoin stuff. And if it happens this year, I think it's going to be like close to the election or after the election. Let the air clear, and then you go. I think it might be a very choppy Q2, Q3. Because I don't buy into this whole we're just going to cut with the Fed. Like, I just don't think that's going to happen. And if the market's pricing that in, if it doesn't happen, then they start getting fussy about it, and it causes some ripples.
Well, I think it depends if we're cutting from strength or cutting from weakness. Are we cutting because we did complete the soft landing or not?
I don't think you cut if the soft landing is still underway. It's a long runway, Josh. Long runway for this landing. If you're going to land softly, you need a long runway. This is aeronautical 101.
I don't disagree. But again, this goes back to the real rates question. If they think CPI, PCE, whatever, core, whatever is too high, then yeah, leave it. Unemployment's fine.
Right. Anyway, I think my hot take is it's going to take a little longer than it feels. Or
so your hot take is higher for longer? Oh man, that's a scorching hot take.
No, that's not higher for longer. I'm not saying higher. I'm saying staying the same and not dropping.
Stay the course for longer.
Stay the course for longer.
Okay.
But from an asset point of view, I think I just don't see massive price exploration, massive bubblicious behavior, all that stuff happening yet. I feel like people are doing all right, but they're not like buying, boats and beach houses. And
did you see the Super Bowl?
Did I see the Super Bowl? I saw 0 crypto ads. That was nice.
No, that was good. But the Super Bowl, I didn't see an empty seat. I didn't see an empty box.
Well, there's never going to be an empty seat in the Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl.
The ticket's more expensive than ever. Boxes were going for $1 million a piece.
Luxury is going to
top end is fine.
Does
the top end is fine. I agree.
Yeah, somebody was telling me not long ago that recessions are like when rich people like put pools in and stuff because they can get the construction for cheap, and so they get the deals because they're doing stuff with cash. They're the ones that have the flexibility and the power during bad times, like the legit rich, not the guy that thinks he's rich because he made $1 million on Dogecoin in 2021.
Well, the messed up part about this is we've got the top end collecting yield on interest rates, right? And benefiting from the stock market. Whereas the bottom end is getting slammed by credit card debt, student loan debt, housing debt, higher...
Polarization.
With what?
Polarization.
Well, I'm just saying there's actually... The higher end is actually benefiting from higher rates, right?
Yeah.
So far. So it just furthers the rich-poor divide,
Yeah.
Back to seasonality.
Yeah.
Q1 arguably so far has been unusually bullish because of the flows. If we didn't have flows, it'd be a different story, right? We'd probably still be at like 30, 40K, maybe.
Verdant wave. Is this breaking news? Could be some breaking news here, Josh. Or he's just quoting something old. Yes. Judge orders Trump and his companies to pay more than $350 million in New York civil case and bars him from running businesses in the city for 3 years. You heard it here first. Bum, bum, bum. That's a Law and Order one. No, that's just bum, bum.
All I have to say to that is FAFO.
First FAFO?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Black around and find out.
Oh. It's like FIFO, LIFO, first in, first out.
They're clearly targeting him. It's clearly political, but at the same time, he clearly did some stuff that is not legal. Okay, let's just be honest and level on that.
Yeah. I can't even be bothered to care. I don't pay attention to the news.
Yeah, I don't. I watch. I don't pay attention to politics really.
Yeah.
So seasonality. Q1 typically bad. Q2 typically great. That's about as far as it goes here. But February for Bitcoin is actually strong, historically super strong. Whereas March is not the month. March is like
that's your back selling, I think.
I agree. But the past 3 Marches have been great.
Look at that. Just wait till summer, late summer. Sell in May and go away.
For ETH, it's all about the first half of the year, which is why I'm a little concerned about ETH that it hasn't moved up more.
I see. I was just sitting here thinking the chart looks good.
No, it does. It does. It looks great. Finally, right? It took
Yeah.
so long.
Golly, I've been waiting 97 years.
But the back half of the year for ETH is not pretty. So ETH kind of has to.
I'm trying to do a calculation in my head of when my long-term capital gains hit, Josh.
Here's the other thing about ETH. As you may or may not have heard, it's got an ETF coming up. Potentially.
I have heard that.
Yeah.
My ETH position, Josh.
Yeah.
I once again put all my DGen IRA in ETH, and it's paying off. Good trade. Good trade. And it's almost to the all-time high from when crypto was at its last all-time high. Even though I've traded a lot more than crypto, but I'm just basically following the crypto chart. But yeah, it's exciting.
So one way this seasonality could play out for ETH is ETF speculation, right? That would make sense to me. It's lines up with seasonality anyway. But if I want to put a cold shower on your ETH trade, if we look at ETH GBTC, like it hasn't really
done anything.
Hasn't really outperformed GBTC.
What about ETH versus BTC?
Well, that has done okay. That found a bottom in July last year.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've been thinking of it in my head. Because I'm not really going to hold a majority position in much else except for like back then BitTo or ETH or GBTC for some of that because it was closing the gap for a while. But I wasn't going to touch GBTC during the ETF launch.
No, but yeah, I think that's why you're seeing the discount catch up on this chart, the ETH GBTC chart.
Yeah,
which is why it's kind of lagging. ETH still has like a 12% discount.
Yeah.
So if
I want
to
like close to the ETF and then bail.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, if you like ETH is probably the better option for a trade if you believe the ETFs are coming this year.
I believe that. Do you believe that?
Sure. Why not? Why not? It's got to believe in something.
The question I have, Josh, is what comes after that? XRP?
I hope not.
But it's going to open the floodgates,
I hope not, but at the same time, I hope yes, because it's like I say with these ETFs, having the ETF and getting it approved is one thing. Having the products is another thing. Getting people to actually buy this stuff is
harder.
A completely separate thing.
Yeah.
Who's good luck?
The crypto native ETFs? Bitwise?
Who's running them?
Who's winning? Flows. Bitwise, right?
Yes, Bitwise has the largest total so far
of the crypto natives, like not the BlackRock one and the Fidelity one.
Correct. They have $1 billion in AUM, I believe now, officially on BitB.
BitB. Gotcha. Cool. What else are you excited about?
What else am I excited about? A lot of charts sort of lining up the same on Bitcoin. If we pull back,
coins on Solana.
Am I excited about anything on Solana? No. If anything, that's a trade to think about throughout the first half of the year remaining is Solana versus ETH. If you're bullish ETH ETF, I think that means strength for that. Sorry, weakness for Sol ETH, so strength for ETH relative to Sol.
Yeah, potentially so.
For many of these charts, it's kind of lining up potential cup and handle. I don't know if we can realistically even go this deep if we get 500 million a day inflows. Like 48 is where this would potentially go.
Dangerous comment there to say, I don't know if we can dip this far.
And if we do it, it's got to be on a weekend, right?
Like super cycle style comment there.
Like, look, we tried. It's right here on the chart. We tried on February 13th. We tried to sell off and didn't.
People are going to forget over time, but when gold got its first ETF, it 4x'd.
A lot of people talked about that.
I know they did before, but it's easy to forget in real time. Like And it didn't appear, at least on the chart, like it was some kind of tremendous amount of volatility. It was just like slam bam, thank you, ma'am. 300%.
I think in the near term, if Next 7 rolls over, you got Nvidia earnings next week, SMCI down 20% today. Some of the risk is being taken off the market. It feels like to me. Coin has done really well. That's down from highs today. It's still up 8%. So I just think it's a time to be cautious up here broadly. IWM down because SMCI is down. Qs are down today. S&P's down today.
Yeah. Seriously, do you like any altcoins? You see any trends in crypto sectors?
Yeah, so if we want to talk about the type of chart I like, it's stuff like this. This is not anything that is a near-term idea. This is not a near-term.
I didn't pay him to say this, just saying.
There are a lot of Dino DeFi coins that look exactly like this.
Yeah.
They've done nothing for a year. They've done nothing for 2 years. Those, I think, are the charts people need to focus on, because focusing on stuff like
Posture Check said, bro, opened a stablecoin chart. Oh, man.
You can focus on stuff that looks like this, right? Or Bonk or something else that's up like thousands of percent. That's fine. I say this all the
Bonk is not the right coin to bring up, in my opinion, but
I say this all the time. I love buying strength over weakness. Okay, love it. But when I see charts like Hood, okay, again, it doesn't really matter what it is. But when I see charts like Hood that have done nothing for 2 years and are at the top of the range breaking out, that's a chart I like. I really like that chart. Filecoin's another one. Like, look, if you want a shot at a move, okay, this is the type of chart where stuff happens.
All right. Can I tell you a chart that I think looks good? That
was just another one. Go ahead.
I'm not a fan of this coin. I don't even know what it does, but it is a coin. Look at this. Got a little double bottom opportunity here. I mean, these ApeCoin people, they have hardly nothing to live for. Surely it can't go that much lower. They're getting flipped by Pudgy Penguins. I mean, would the Pudgy Penguin Bored Ape flippening be the bottom for ApeCoin?
Pudgy Penguin Bored Ape flippening.
God, I'm way outside his comfort zone here, y'all.
No, I had to think about it because the Penguins have done well, right? They've done really well.
Yeah, the floor is like 20-something ETH. I don't even have to look at it. I just snuggle up in my Pudgy Penguin gear and feeling comfy. Here, I'll go get it for you.
What I like about the ape chart on the 3-day is it's getting ready to get inside of the cloud. So yeah, I think there's a potential for a trade there. There's a potential for meme.
It's got a bell. Look at this. I mean, it's very cozy in here.
Yeah.
See that? My kids love these things.
I was saying,
what were you saying?
No. I was just saying that the cloud likes it on the 3-day as far as the potential for a move through the cloud. That's all.
Just a random coin I was looking at. I don't know.
No, I mean, look, I'm bearish alts. I think they're dumb, but I get the trading aspect of it. This is the type of chart where, yes, if you want large moves, am I going to bet the farm on all these charts? No, but yeah, I'll have some exposure to some of this stuff. You want a crazier chart as ETC? Like, sure, why not? Right? We see stupid stuff move every cycle. This chart looks fine.
Yeah, I think there are some interesting charts out there. It's not all of them.
DOT is another one. Is anybody asking you about DOT? Has anybody said anything about DOT? I have no idea. But the chart looks like it looks like something could happen. That's all I'm saying. You know,
yeah,
so
I do tend to think some of these might do well. And if in the scenario where Bitcoin does go to an all-time high, they'll all get totally, blown their doors off. Like, just lag massively. I think if Bitcoin properly breaks out, gets price discovery, alts are going to get freaking crushed. But
no, I agree. Alts do best.
If Bitcoin settles down, they got a chance.
alts do best after halving. You can pull up total 2, you can pull up total 3, you can pull up whatever you want and check that out yourself. But here's waves, right? Here's one that's been around for decades, feels like. If there's any chart that could do anything, it's with a pattern that looks like that on the bottom. It just needs time. I think most of these alts are going to need like 3 to 6 months, but I do think they will see some moves higher. That's all.
Somebody in the chat. Sorry.
I don't know why, man. I don't know why people pay attention to this or look at it. I think
bottom. Look at Zcash's last example of a consolidation. Oops.
I think they know it triggers me. That's why they ask. But yes, you should always look at all of these charts against Bitcoin, because even something like waves is at an all-time low against Bitcoin. Okay.
Yeah, there's a huge RSI divergence here on the weekly Zcash relative to BTC, Josh.
I don't think that matters. Honestly.
Just say it.
So you do have to time these. These aren't something at the moment, in my opinion, that you can just sit in and wait, because I do think against Bitcoin, against ETH, you're going to see continued weakness. I mean, there's a ton of relative ETH trades, like Sand ETH was one I was just looking at randomly.
Jeez. I feel like if all these really do very well, like that's probably not great for the ecosystem.
But like the point is here, you have to be kind of smart about it. You know, if you want maximum value, it's not just let's load up the altcoin bags right now and
most of these old coins aren't doing well anyway. Like the alts that aren't going are the newer coins. Yeah, I'd rather hold ETH than that.
Yeah. So I think it's going to take 3 to 6 months broadly, 36. And I think that's when alts do better. 3 to 6, yeah.
Oh, 3 to 6. I thought you said 36.
No. 3 to 6.
Give it 3 more years of pain, and maybe I'll buy you.
You have Bitcoin halving in April. You have ETH ETFs potentially in May, and then I think maybe alts do decently okay. Relative value broadly.
If you want to keep it relatively low risk, your majors are where it's at. Probably there's not like substantial evidence that you're going to have that much more upside in altcoins. And if you do, it's probably one-off stuff that you're kind of doing scratch off tickets on. Right.
And if you're spray and pray, your net is probably not going to be
that great.
That great.
Yeah.
The ETH BTC, as bearish as I am on, as bearish as I am on this, maybe things happen here. I don't know, but to me, this looks like it wants to go lower. That's all.
Okay, you heard it here. All right, Josh, I'm gonna go ahead and try to schedule now that we're gonna do this again next week. I'm ready to get back in the flow of things.
All right, I'm always here. You know that.
Yeah, I know that. Sorry, I like to be consistent. Sometimes I just need to disappear for 6 weeks.
I mean, broadly, like you said, we got the ETFs that got approved. There's really, not really much to do.
Yeah.
Broadly.
In crypto.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, y'all. Appreciate you. Like and subscribe. Josh is putting out lots of great content at Carpe Noctem on YouTube, on Twitter. Check him out. See you later.
Monuments crumble in the blink of an eye. The easy river has just run dry. In a house of cards, I feel the breeze wound so tight I can barely breathe. Oh, the change